Ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú. Ó jọ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò mọ́ rárá.
And so that they use takia to deceive the gullible. I am not laying the entire blame of the security infrastructural collapse in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria generally. I am not laying it solely on their doorstep, no. But they played a very huge role in how everything got to this level. I may not be able to explain all of that right now because of our time. But there is something. All these years, they have been busy covering this madness up based on how much benefit they are getting from the system. Now, two tweets from Donald Trump triggered all of this. All this shalaye, all this explanation. We love ourselves. We love our neighbors. We used to live in peace. Yes, you used to live in peace because as broken as Nigeria was, there was not a government or a party that solely supports terrorism like APC, Egbekegbe. Never. As corrupt and as broken as Nigeria was, APC, Egbekegbe, is the only political party that is not only funding terrorism, they are rehabilitating who they call the repentant terrorists, expending billions and trillions on defense. And yet, the more they spend, the more people die. They are the architect of non-kinetic. Non-kinetic, that means don't shoot them. Let us talk to them. Let us listen to their grievances. They were deceiving people that this fight was a farmers' others clashes. Do you realize that when they now brought in when they realized that they couldn't use farmers' others anymore because those who are killing the people in the middle of the night, they have no cows. They are on their bikes. They are with different, they mounted machine guns on trucks. These are like terrorists, full-time terrorists. They now changed name. They didn't want to call them terrorists. They started calling them bandits, Fulani bandits. Well, they won't even call them Fulani bandits. They said they are bandits. On the one hand, they will tell us that they are not from Nigeria. On the second hand, they will want us to give them our land because they want land. And we ask them, land for what again? Is it land where they will park and build their camps, where people will be going to pay their ransoms? Because these ones have no cows. They say Nigeria will buy cows for them. Nigeria will build ranches for them. So what will happen to their guns? Nobody is telling us, right? Until Donald Trump says, your government is behind terrorism. Everybody, they begin to explain. And they para at the same time. Let that man finish what he's saying.
Ourselves first, before we rushed out. I would have also thought that those who had made this complaint had gone to the United Nations instead of the United States of America. We are not a colony of the United States. We do not owe the United States any explanation as to how we run our domestic affairs. What we are doing, however, is to make sure that the world understands the true nature of this conflict. There are so many conflicts in Nigeria. You can easily put a picture and emphasize it. But as to this particular, all of us here, because we are Nigerians, we know that is not true. First, we know also in the last 15 years, the conflict in the Northeast, Boko Haram, is not targeted to Christians, is not targeted to Muslims. These are insurgents who want to make headlines every day. In doing so, they don't care whether they kill a Muslim or a Christian. But they are operating in a predominantly Muslim area, so their victims are predominantly Muslims. Of course, they are Christian, but for an insurgent, he doesn't care whether he kills a Muslim or a Christian. But like the population, obviously, there are more victims that are Muslims than no. Then you move towards the northwest, which was enjoying quite a peaceful time until this bandits started their operation. Now, we can only propagate to our people how best to protect and safeguard their families, their villages, their communities, while we, at the same time, consistently have been talking to the federal government as to the necessity for them to nip the thing in the bud before it spread. It started like a joke in Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, now Kebbi and Niger is moving. By the time it's now in Katsina, by the time it gets to Kano, which is next to Jigawa, where I come from, Yobe is quite close. So if government does not take proper, immediate action to stop this, very soon the whole of the northern region is going to be covered with these insurgency. The north central is infested also. And we have always been wondering that the Nigerian military that had fought in Korea, had fought all over the world, has gone to West Africa and sorted them out, had not been able to sort our own problems for 15 years. Now, I understand that there is a difference between an enemy that you can fight face to face and urban guerrilla situation. But we still need to, I think, to put more effort from all of us, but especially from those that are in a position to stop the thing from spreading. And that's what our wishes, our hopes, and I hope that the recent changes in the...
So that's their own position. Nigeria is an independent country, is a sovereign country. It could take care of its own. They expect the federal government to do their job and they provide the security, but they have not. The insecurity or the terrorism is spreading. They agree that things are bad. Muslims are being killed. Okay, let's stop saying Muslims, Christians now. Okay, Nigerians are being killed. So if there's anywhere people should direct their rage, it should be towards their own, towards Tifnumbu, absolutely, towards Kolu. But those around Kolu, after he changed the service chiefs, the one in charge of the defense now, right? Olukeye or so, Oluyede.
There are no Christians being persecuted in Nigeria. Well, we are facing insecurity, especially terrorism, and it's something that's been affecting Nigeria for quite some time now. But as a group, talking about security heads, we've been doing our very best to checkmate this act of terrorism within the space of Nigeria. And you will recall recently, that's just last week, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, recalibrated the security architecture by bringing on board officers of proven integrity who are seasoned in asymmetric warfare to add impetus to our operations. I want to assure Nigerians going forward that we're going to add more to what we're doing, add more impetus to our operations, and ensure that we checkmate this act of terrorism within Nigeria. And you know very well that terrorism is a global issue, it's a global problem. There are several countries that are challenged in that respect. And it calls for collective effort. So if we have countries...
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Hate that word or that sentence. You know, terrorism is a global thing. It's not a Nigerian thing. Baba, stop listening to that nonsense. There is no country in the world where terrorists are killing people the way they are killing people in Nigeria. There is nowhere in the world. Even where terrorists are in government, in Afghanistan, in Syria, Baba, the level at which they are killing people in Nigeria, kidnapping people, ransacking and all of that stuff, right? It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. Only in Nigeria. You see all these neighboring African countries, it doesn't happen there. It's only in Nigeria that these mass killings. Ukraine has been fighting war, and Russia, Gaza and Palestine and Israel. You've read about the stats of people killed. Combined all of them together, they are not up to the number of Nigerians that have been killed in a year alone by this murderous terrorist. But guess what? The rest of the world knows that these countries are fighting war. But they are telling Nigeria that Nigeria, please, so all of you should watch your mouth. Don't say things that will lead Nigeria to war. All these things all of you are saying, if Nigeria should go to war, your eyes will see because you are living in Lagos. Far away from where people are trekking hundreds of kilometers, running away from their lands, and never to go back there anymore. To you, Nigeria is not at war. But all these bodies, all these videos you are watching, they are clashes that only the indigenous people are dying. I've never seen where they said farmers and others clashes. Now only the farmers they die, not just the farmers, so including farmers' entire village. Come on, man. There is nowhere, if you are in Nigeria watching me, there is nowhere in the world, all right, where terrorists reign supreme and commit even 1% of the killings that takes place in Nigeria. You've heard a lot about terrorists now. You know, whenever they strike, right, they will say, maybe a bomb, boom, somewhere. And they'll tell you that, 40 people died, 400 people died, 1,000 people injured in Nigeria. They are not using bombs. They are using like war weapons. They are firing and shooting bullets that could penetrate metals. They are shooting them into armless human beings. Because their agenda is to clear them out and then take over their land, whatever they found in that area to mine, that will turn the entire place to ungoverned area. So whatever they are doing in there, nobody knows, not the government, nobody. No one is coming for them. Nobody is coming back to say, we heard that an attack took place in so place. They've displaced all the people living there. The Nigerian army, go down, check them, raid them, and kill them, Nothing like that. Everybody will begin to look for IDP camp, where to go to. Look at Sudan. They are killing people in Sudan. They are fighting war in Sudan. Didn't you know about Sudan now, Abi? There is Sudan in Nigeria. Yeah. There are people who are experiencing Sudan inside Nigeria. You are in Lagos, you have internet, you have little electricity, you could defend all these rogues by denying these victims. However, Olukoye Abioluyede is not the only person trying to do their own explaining and making it pretty much like, yeah, people are dying, but it's okay, like it's not that bad of a thing. Daniel Buala was on the BBC World spewing the same gibberish.
I want to say that as a country, we were quite shocked by the allegation because the allegation is premised on a wrong, false reporting or false narrative or false report. First of all, this journey started with the Republican lawmakers picking that soundbite from Bill Maher, who started this conversation. But they relied on two reports because we see that over time, they keep shoveling those things on their social media platforms. The first report is from Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Human Rights, and the second report is on Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa. These two reports, in their very constituents, they indicated that there is a killing of both Christians, Muslims, and non-Christian and non-Muslims. So how they concluded, even though they draw data and the analysis of the data suggests that there is no genocide, how they concluded their report by saying there is a genocide is quite intriguing. But there was an investigative report
Mr.
that was
Bola,
conducted in Nigeria.
question. So you're disputing the use of the word genocide, but do you agree with the Christian Association of Nigeria, who have been speaking to the persecution of Christians in Nigeria? In fact, in a recent statement, they said they're calling on the government and security agencies to take urgent measures to end the killings and safeguard vulnerable Christian communities. That's a different group altogether, and they have the same message.
I will put it this way. There are killings in Nigeria, quite frankly. We are not denying that. And we're also not denying that Christians have been killed. But we are saying that data and realities all suggested that the killings are not targeted to a religion. It is indiscriminate killing by criminal elements. Some are bandits, some are Boko Haram, some are Ansaru, and some are about criminal elements in the society. And even the finding of those reports suggests that the killing is, without restriction.
And on the campaign trail, the president that you speak for, one of his pledges was to obliterate terror, kidnapping, banditry, and all forms of violent extremism. If the answers are there and the resources are there, why isn't this being done?
So the promise he made was not to make that happen in 2 years or even in first term. But we have a result to, suggest the successes we have made so far. And I told you that we used to have prison break. We no longer have it. We used to have very minimal arrest of these individuals. We have massive one now. We have decimated them. They are not occupying any territory in Nigeria, in fact, as per saying a whole local government is under territory. The budget of Nigeria is a little under $35 billion. Even in infrastructure alone, economists have reached a conclusion you need between $30 to $100 billion in order to revamp your infrastructure alone. But we're dealing with $35 billion for the entirety of the country. We have decayed infrastructure. We have to focus on education. Our people are down. We have to focus on healthcare. There is health crisis in Nigeria. We're revamping hospitals. We're doing a lot of things. We have to look at intervention. A lot of our people are under poverty scale. So we introduce intervention, school feeding program. A lot of this you're doing within the limit of the resources. And then we also have to invest in the defense of Nigeria. If you look at context, all you will say is to appreciate what we're doing.
President Trump has suggested U.S. military intervention in Nigeria to tackle jihadist attacks. Would you welcome such support?
We welcome any form of military assistance in form of equipment, ammunition, and the rest. We do not welcome the boots of foreign military forces in the Nigerian soil. Nigeria is a country of territorial integrity. It's a sovereign country. There are laws that govern sovereignty. There are conventions that govern military intervention in countries. You can't come to a country of people that have not invited you. And even the application of the relevant laws in the United States that gives the US government the power to intervene in countries all over the world where the national security of America is threatened, that same provision of that law relates to dealing with countries that are hostile to America. Nigeria is a partner, it's not a hostile country. I want to say...
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
That's Wilaba. He actually, with bold face, told that, that journalist interviewing him that there is no ungoverned area in Nigeria anymore. Really? Anyway, this is also the part of their own spinning campaign. They are everywhere busy. On the one hand, telling America, no, we accept your support, we accept your assistance, but we don't want you to bring soldiers to Nigeria. America is not bringing soldiers to Nigeria. They are just watching all of this, probably just laughing. You get that now? So, but there is more. Like in the National Assembly today, right, where everyone was expected to contribute to a bill or to bills. You know, they are trying to see this mofoso in all of this, right? They are trying to pass a bill, okay, that they believe this bill is going to help Nigeria to avoid the wrong information about what is going on in Nigeria. Do you understand that?